Hey, people, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Conversation. And you already know what we do on The Conversation, yeah? All we do is basically have people from different walks of life come and share with us their life experiences and how they made it this far. But today's episode is an exception, yeah? So, what we'll be doing on the show today is having a rundown of all the episodes we've had so far on the show, and I'll be telling you what stood out for me in all the episodes. Yes, so people, join me as I explore. My name is Renio, and this is The Conversation. And of course, you are on to KR8 Radio. So, on episode 1, which was the premiere episode, I had on the show Mrs. Debbie Katsu, who happens to be the CEO of DKNI stores here in Jos Plateau State, Rayfield to be precise. And one thing that actually stood out for me is focus, determination. In fact, when you're talking about business, when you want to talk about success, she is a definition of success. She may not be where she wants to be yet, but she is a role model to a lot of people who want to go into business. And I feel that it's not just for the business folks, yeah. You can look at it and apply it to your life, whatever it is that you're doing. It could be music, it could be dance, it could be whatever. Okay. And there was one story she shared that actually struck me. She made mention of her traveling to different countries, to different places while she was still a student. For some of you who are students and you just feel, I'm still in school, I don't see the need to do all these things and all. She would travel weekends, go and buy goods, products, and come back and sell to lecturers, to students. She was not ashamed. We are in an era where a lot of people will feel, how do I take my products to school and all of that? But we see that this woman didn't really care about it, yeah? And we see that she happens to be a CEO today. That was probably maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and then bring it back now. 15 years later, she's doing perfectly well. And I think that is something that we should learn from. And, going through the comments on YouTube on that episode, I saw a lot of people who were motivated, who were inspired by that episode. And it just brought tears to my eyes, because we all want to be successful, yeah? So that was it for episode 1. And on episode 2, of course, we had an amazing photographer, Kureng Dapel, who happens to be the CEO of Kureng Works here in Jos. An amazing photographer. You need to check out his works because he's on fire. And something, he shared his own stories too, and a lot of stories. If you watched that episode, you agree with me that he had a whole lot of stories to share with us. But I'll be sharing maybe 1 or 2 with you guys, yeah? So on that episode, he made mention of, taking the bull by the horn, just doing what once you feel, that gut feeling, once you just feel it, just go for it. And most of the time, you'd agree with me that most people who take the bull by the horn actually stand out. And that is what we see in Kureng's life. Yeah. He made mention of taking pictures that he didn't even know would even sell. I just have this feeling I want to do this thing, and then I go ahead and do it, and then they happen to be his best experiences. So if there's anything I learned on that episode, that will be that you should learn to take the bull by the horn. Do things that people would normally not do. Think out of the box. And something he also made mention of was, most people just feel that it's all about money. And then he actually came out to say that it's not all about that. Yeah. As a business person, you should be able to do things not for free now, but you could do like a promotion bonus to people, where you just call somebody and then, hi, come, and then I want you to be a model on my set. I want you to take pictures of you and do this, and you put it out there. You didn't pay the person to do it. The person did not pay you, but before you know it, your work is going out there and you're doing a lot. Because trust me, if for instance you're a photographer and you think that you only wait for people to come to your studios and snap before you post, you run out of business. Ask anybody, you will run out of business. So I mean, I know I'm talking business, but well, everybody wants to make the money, yeah. So you should learn to, just do some of these things to keep you in business, to keep you running, yeah. And that's how Compy is this successful. So yes, Koren, we had a very amazing time on the show with you, and then we learned a lot. Okay, so episode 3, we had an amazing baker. You know what's amazing about the conversation is the fact that we get to have people from different walks of life. So it's a relatable show, yeah. So we had an amazing baker on the show. Kibapi Miesgin. I hope I got the name right. Yes, I think I did. And she is not just a baker, she is an architect. So you see that, okay, architecture and baking, you see that the combination, if you ask somebody and the person is like, what brings baking and architecture together? But well, let me surprise you, you'd realize the crafts would always be more different, or would be much more outstanding. Why? Because this thing, I listen to people say, okay, I studied this in school, so I cannot do this because there's no way, they don't relate and all of that. But excuse me, there's always a way to blend these things in if you have a passion for whatever it is you want to do. Yeah. And we see that Kibapi is an architect and she's a baker, but somehow she was able to put whatever it is she learned in school into her craft. And we see it go on social media. If you also watch the episode, we displayed some of her works on that episode, and you would agree with me that she's doing well. Yes. And one thing actually that now stood out for me on that episode was when she was sharing that, we have a lot of young people today that are laid back because they feel, okay, I'm too young to do this, I'm this, I'm that. And now, okay, so this is the month of August, as we all know, and this is a long vacation where most parents have their kids at home. And I would advise now that a lot of parents should enroll, in fact, every parent should enroll his or her child in learning different skills, different arts, because you never can tell where it's going to pay from. And that's one thing I learned. I mean, she actually did advise parents to, enroll their kids. Mechanic, baking, tailoring. You never can tell where it's going to pay tomorrow. Yeah. So finally, on the last episode of the show, we had Son Chuan, an amazing artist. I mean, you need to see what he has done to Afro pop gospel, not just in J-Town, not just in northern Nigeria, not just in the whole of Nigeria, but in the whole of Africa. I mean, he's giving it to us hot, back to back. And I'm super excited because he's a very young person, just like myself, just like a lot of you who are probably watching the show. And you'd agree with me that he has done so well for himself. I mean, somebody who is still in school, number one, somebody who is pretty young in his 20s, doing a lot that people in their 30s and in their 40s have not even thought of doing. It rings a bell. It tells that you can be anything you want to be, whenever you want to be, however you want to be. Yeah. So on that show, one thing that I learned was the fact that you shouldn't do that alone. You can. No man is an island. Yeah. Number one, he mentioned mentoring. So as somebody coming up, you should definitely have people that you look up to. There's no way you can make it that far without having mentors, people you listen to, people you watch. Even if you don't hear them, you just watch their lifestyle and then you realize that there is something to learn from them. And he made mention of setting a few people that he looks up to and have brought him this far. And one thing I would love to say is this: as a young person, it's never too early to start. Always, as I said earlier, always take the bull by the horn. And if there's one thing from the very first episode down to the last episode, you realize that everybody made mention of focus, everybody made mention of determination, everybody made mention of mentoring. Yes. So it tells that these 3 things are very important in your business, in your skill, in your place of work, whatever it is that you want to do. So certain people feel it's just my talent. I just have a talent to sing. I just love to sing. It's not like it's something I want to. Now, the Bible says God has given you the power to make wealth, which means that you can use whatever skill or whatever talent God has given you to make a living out of it. So don't just sit back and just feel, And let me just tell you one funny thing. God is going to ask you, just in case you're thinking it's just a talent, it's just something that I just love to do. I just have flair for it. I just hello. Have you read the Bible properly, where you saw God giving, or Jesus rather, talking about the master that gave his servants talents, and what did the man with the one do? He buried it. So I just want to say this: be focused, be determined, and make use of whatever skill or whatever talent it is that God has given you to glorify him. Yes. So that's basically it. Episode 1, we had Mrs. Deborah Katu. Episode 2, we had Kurenda Pearl. Episode 3, we had Kibapi Meskin. Yes, I got it. And then episode 4, we had Son Chuang, Sounds of Nirat Chuang. And it's been very amazing on the show. I just want to say a big thank you to all the people who have been on the show so far for all 4 episodes. I want to say thank you for everybody who have been waiting every time to watch the next episode and comment, like, and support us. We are very grateful. We say thank you to our 1.5k followers and subscribers on YouTube here at KR8. We are very grateful. We love you so much, and of course there's no way we would have done this without you. Yes, so that is it for the conversation. You can do well to follow us on all our social media platforms, all at KR8 Radio. My name is Remy Obot, and I am saying do have a blessed month. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.